aim of rethinking the Indian toy industry. We are honored to have here with us Secretary Mohua Sri Manoj Joshi, Joint Secretary and National Mission Director, Swachh Bharat Mission, Ms. Rupa Mishra, and the Director, Swachh Bharat Mission, Sri Vinay Jha. We are also joined today virtually by representatives from state directorates and urban local bodies, representatives from the toy industry, toy designers, from academia, toy manufacturers, toy startups. The initiative we are about to launch is a unique challenge to all the innovators of the country to reimagine the toy value chain of India. Before beginning, may I also place on record our appreciation and acknowledgement for the support that has been given to us by our sector partners, GIZ, IIT Gandhinagar, IIT Bombay, USAID, BMGF, and all the other development partners who have been our constant support in taking forward the mandate of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Before we begin, may I request all the panelists to please turn your videos. Our first speaker is Professor Atwankar, former head of Industrial Design Center, IIT Bombay, who will be speaking on the topic of game design and cognitive science. Over to you, Professor Atwankar.
Thank you for the offer. I'm very happy to speak on the subject that I feel very passionate about. Let me share my screen. I'm going to talk about games and cognitive development. It has a little bit of a background. It's a journey that started with my being an architect and a designer and realizing that there's a different way in which designers think. It's messy, but it also uses spatial intelligence. And I thought that it's important that the students in architecture develop this faculty as part of their process. So I did a lot of experiments using architects and asking them, blindfolding them and asking them to design. My early efforts were in creating puzzles which teach spatial intelligence and also creating games which help this particular cognitive skill. So how do we, my question that I addressed myself is, how does one develop spatial intelligence? I was assisted by the work of famous people like Stephen Crosslin, who talks about mental imagery, and also Howard Gardner, who talked about multiple intelligence. So using these two references, I went ahead and created interesting possibilities for architects. I'm going to talk about the first part. I'm going to talk about developing spatial intelligence through puzzles and games. This was my first attempt. I created a set of puzzles. There are about 60 to 70 puzzles with different levels of complexities, which cannot be solved using IQ. Higher IQ does not help. But what it's really necessary is your ability to hold image in your mind and also transform it as you go along and find solutions to the problem using spatial intelligence. So there are a lot of operations that come into picture: rotate, flip, fuse, hold, connect, and things like that. These puzzles were developed with an idea that architects would be able to fine-tune their ideas of spatial intelligence and use them in their creative design. I also developed games based on spatial intelligence. This was a game that was displayed in Japan in an ACE library, ACE exhibition. This actually has a cavity which is shaped differently, and there are smaller pieces which fit into that cavity. Each player has a different cavity with him, and they all pass on pieces to each other, and it's completely played blindfolded. And it's a lot of fun because people have to actually judge the shape by touching that particular piece and trying to see whether it fits into a cavity or not. I also developed another game which is based on tangram. Instead of using one set of triangle pieces, I use two sets of triangle pieces, which also make a square. So two players sit with their own colors of triangle pieces and try and complete a square. The way it's handled is, I can create, as a player, I can create a difficulty for my opponent, and opponent can create difficulty for me. And I need to use mental imagery to solve these problems. And it's a very interesting game which was manufactured by a company in Bombay. It, it's based on learning of problem solving, strategy, tactics, and of course, visual thinking, which has been one of my early interests. I extended the idea of using games to academic learning, and this is something which is quite interesting to me, because when I talked about academic learning, I talked about what is taught in the school through school lessons, and this is where I first realized a major shift that seems to be occurring now, and that major shift is that in the last 2 decades has been that children seem to spend time more on the virtual world, which is of course a good part and a bad part of it. But I was surprised by an 8-year-old child who taught me how to design a game using Scratch. Scratch is an application that's developed by MIT, and it lets children kind of work interactivity with objects. And it's a wonderful software. And she was just 8 years old, and I asked her, how did you learn? And the answer is YouTube and search engines of different companies. And she says that I learned it with me and my friends, which tells something very interesting, that children are capable of self-learning and peer learning. And we probably spend too much time teaching them when they are able to learn on their own. So this is something which is similar to what happens in games. Games also are learned by practice. Nobody kind of teaches you games systematically, nor do you read books on games before you learn. You just get into game and start learning it, and as you play and practice, you learn that the techniques and learn the strategies, etc. So the question that I asked is, can this technique be used where I can create games which assist academic learning? So I used to take for several, I've been teaching game design for almost 15 years. And every time I used to take a lesson from a school for students, and they would convert that lesson into a game. So my first game was uh, about maps, about cities and landmarks. This is a sixth or seventh standard as part of the school syllabus in geography. And it's interesting because when we actually studied, we realized that children do not know where cities are. For instance, one of the students located Jamshedpur in Rajasthan. So I was surprised. So I thought it may be a good idea to create a game which actually teaches, and there is a way of challenging each other, etc. So it's a complex game, but it has interesting clues and it has interesting challenges. Another game which we designed was to learn the concept of mod. This was manufactured in Japan and it was marketed in Japan. It is very interesting because it is through learning to play this game that you sort of understand the whole idea of mod. So over 15 years, we have developed series of games which are about 60 or 70, which are there on a site called Why Not Games, which is part of IDC, and that the institute that I belong to, IDC IIT. Most of my games concern most of my games concern different people. If you look at the life cycle, then children, teens, adults, and seniors. I have concentrated mainly on seniors, and particularly games seem to be relevant from 7 year onward to 11. And most of the time, I use Jean Piaget's work on concrete operations and formal operations to create some of these games. This is a time when children get initiated in the idea of game and they start learning how to play with others. I also have those puzzles which were developed mainly for teens. And then afterwards, there are, of course, competitive sports, which I haven't gone into. I'll come back to senior citizens a little later. So there are, instead of cramming a lot of things in the classroom, is it possible to create a game which, and also it's quite expensive to buy games and schools may not be able to afford it. So I started experimenting with zero cost games. I'll just show you a quick glance of that. This is a game that teaches.
One member will throw the pebble to get the digit, and other will take care of operators. Now let's play the game with number 29.
Actually, children play this on the ground. So there is a motor actions involved in it besides
You
arithmetic.
can't use the same operator for 2 consecutive times.
Okay, we can stop it here because there's little time available. It's also possible that one can develop games for senior citizens which are very much like children, except that their skills and motor actions are gradually deteriorating. Now, this is a big gap that is available to us, and it's possible that one can develop new games which not only engage senior citizens, give them a joy, but also are therapeutic in nature. I tried something with dementia, but didn't pursue it because of funding problem. So this is another great area that is available for game and cognitive development. My ultimate aim is, instead of writing an exam and fighting with it, can you play an exam? And second is, can you teach using exam? That means exam becomes a way of teaching rather than the way of fighting it out. It's a kind of a disruptive dream. My dream is a student asking a teacher, I want to take an exam, rather than saying I want to play. Or the child goes to a mom, says, I will do my homework rather than play. Now, this is perfectly possible. It is possible that you can have every child giving 100% correct answers and still get graded, so that there's a difference that can be noted between children. And this is possible that exam warriors can become actually exam players. So you play an exam and not really fight with it. This is, of course, very much possible, but not by one-man army. It will require a fairly large investment to do that. So my ultimate dream is that Ministry of Education becomes a Ministry of Education and Fun. And if that is achieved, then the difference between education and fun is likely to reduce. They'll actually get fused together. So my best wishes to the Toyathon that is being planned. It's a wonderful initiative, and I think it's a first step. My only suggestion is, and I'm sure a lot of you would have considered, is that designing is not enough. There is a lot of other support that is required, and I'm sure you would be planning it. Thank you very much. What's the next speaker?
Yeah,
Professor.
am I audible? I don't know.
Yes, you're audible, Professor Jain. Kindly start. Professor Jain, you are audible. You may kindly start.
Oh, so I was wondering if I should or not. So should I go ahead?
Yes, please, kindly go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for calling me. It was a pleasant surprise. I got a call from Rupa ji to come and talk about some of the things that we've been doing for last so many years. 5 साल से पिछले मैं मेरा नाम मनीष जैन है और मैं आईआईटी गांधीनगर से बोल रहा हूँ और let me just take you to my screen. This is where I am speaking from. A small place in IIT Gandhinagar, we call it Center for Creative Learning, and this is how our lab looks like. And the goal of what we do in our lab is basically कक्षाएं जीवंत हो जाएं, पाठ्यक्रम रुचिकर हो जाए और आंखों की चमक वापस लौट आए. That is pretty much what we try to do. And in the beginning, thank you so much. And I was very happy. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जब मुझे पता चला कि एक ऐसा टॉयकथॉन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं जो कम सामान या जो हम भंगार में या कूड़े में सामान फेंक देते हैं उससे बच्चे और बड़े सभी लोग खिलौने बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. मैं आपको कुछ खिलौने दिखाऊंगा अभी. हमने पिछले 5 सालों में या मैंने पिछले 12 सालों में जो भी हजारों खिलौने, ऑलमोस्ट 1000 खिलौने बनाए, उनमें से कुछ मैं यहाँ पर मेरे हाथ में ये दिखाने की कोशिश करूंगा. मेरे हाथ में छोटा सा ये जो अपन फेंक देते हैं, आज आप सभी लोगों का स्वागत करते हैं इससे. तो जो लोग सो रहे होंगे शायद वो वापस जग जाएं. ये उसले भी था. अक्सर आजकल इतनी सारी ऑनलाइन मीटिंग होती हैं और ये बनाया हमने सिर्फ एक पाइप में. ये टी जंक्शन है, इसके ऊपर पन्नी चिपका दी, प्लास्टिक, भंगार की प्लास्टिक, और इसके अंदर इसको इतना घुसाया, ये ढीला होना चाहिए, इतना घुसाया ताकि ये यहाँ पर लग जाए. और उसके बाद तो ये हमारा बिगुल है और ये शंखनाद भी है, बिल्कुल शंख जैसा लगता है. इसी को बजाने के लिए हमने दूसरे खिलौने को बनाने की कोशिश करी जिसमें एक कटी हुई बोतल है, एक ये बलून, गुब्बारा और नीचे छोटा सा भंगार का पाइप. ये एक और शंखनाद था. मैं लाइन से, और फिर हमने कहा यहाँ पर क्यों रुके, क्योंकि खेल अभी हमारे आईआईटी में नेशनल स्पोर्ट्स चल रहा है, तो उसके लिए ये रेफरी की सीटी बजाई. इसमें सिर्फ एक साधारण से पाइप में ये एक फ्लैप लगा दिया. अब इसको अगर हम उंगली से अपनी बंद करते हैं तो सब लोगों को जगाने का कुछ काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. These are some toys that you can make with very simple usable. और फिर ऑफ कोर्स ये पुराना जो मटेरियल है, ये सीडी है, 2 सीडियां हैं. सीडी की बीच की सीडी, ये 3 सीडीज हैं, 2 सीडी के बीच में एक कटी हुई सीडी रैप कर दी. इसको फूंक मारते हैं तो कुछ नहीं होता, लेकिन इसके अंदर अगर हम कोई साउंड बॉक्स बना दें, और ये अलग अलग तरीके के साउंड बॉक्स में अलग अलग तरीके से काम करती है. अगर इसको मैं घंटी के ऊपर रख दूं और अब बजाऊं, शायद आप लोगों को आवाज आ रही होगी. इस तरह के खिलौने हैं जो ये काफी सारे साउंड जो आवाज पैदा करने वाले खिलौने हैं वैसे बनाए थे. ये बहुत सुंदर खिलौना हमने एक पुरानी वाली स्ट्रॉ से बनाया. इसमें हमने 2 स्ट्रॉ जो बेंडेबल है वो घुमा दी. इसको ऐसे रख के फूंक मारते हैं तो ये नीचे चला जाता है. नीचे से अगर इसको घुमा के अपनी तरफ करते हैं तो ऊपर चला जाता है, लेकिन अगर हम इसको इस तरफ करते हैं तो. Now I can talk about third law of motion or whatever, but I can also play with this now. And what we are hoping in the Toyathon is to see lots of इस तरह के, बहुत सारे इस तरह के अलग अलग तरीके के. ये एक और खिलौना था जिसमें हमने पंखा, और इसमें वही वाले पंखे को एक और स्ट्रॉ स्पिनर हमने यहाँ लगा दिया. तो अब ये देखिए 2 तरीके से घूमता है. तो ये तो ऐसे ऐसे घूमता ही है. साथ में ये वाला जो खिलौना है, ये वाला भी हुआ क्या, यहां से हवा गई. ये हमने जो स्पिनर बनाया था इसमें एक तरफ छेद लगा दिया, इसमें दूसरी तरफ कट लगा दिया, तो हवा एक तरफ ऊपर जाती है, एक तरफ नीचे जाती है, तो ये गोल गोल घूमने लग जाता है. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉयज. एंड आई विल जस्ट टेक अ मिनट टू शो यू दिस ब्यूटीफुल पीवीसी. ये सब कूड़े के सामान से बन जाते हैं. तो मैं सोच रहा था ये अंत में बनाऊंगा, लेकिन ये अभी बजा देते हैं. पीवीसी की, साधारण पीवीसी का पाइप है जिसमें हमने 7 छेद करे हैं. पूरा बजा सकते थे, समय के कारण मैं थोड़ा ही बजाऊंगा. और दूसरा पीवीसी पाइप, ये साधारण पीवीसी पाइप है और इसमें हमने ये पूरा शायद आपको दिख नहीं रहा है स्क्रीन में, और कुछ नहीं है. ये जो हमारा नेक आती है ना, एल्बो में यहाँ पर एक छेद कर दिया. यहाँ से जब हवा फूकते हैं तो वो कट जाती है, वॉर्टेक्स बन जाते हैं। कुछ वॉर्टेक्स, एक वॉर्टेक्स ऊपर जाता है, एक नीचे जाता है, वो गोल गोल घूमता है, इसके अंदर स्टैंडिंग वेव्स पैदा हो जाती हैं। वो उसका विज्ञान है, वो समझने की इतनी जरूरत है नहीं, लेकिन बहुत सुंदर ये खिलौने बन जाते हैं। अब मैं आपको कुछ लकड़ी के और गत्ते के खिलौने दिखाऊंगा। इसको कहते हैं फुटबॉल। जियो, दिमाग की बत्ती जला दे। लैंप भी है और साधारण गत्ते से बन सकता है। गत्ते में लेजर कट करके छेद कर दिए, 12 पेंटागन है, 20 हेक्सागन है, बकमिनिस्टर फुलरिन जो भी बोलते हैं वो है, और साधारण सी शीट से काट कर बन जाता है। ये मैं आपको दिखा देता हूं, इस तरह की शीट में, ये गत्ते की शीट से बन जाता है। और ये पीसेस अलग हो जाते हैं, और जो फुटबॉल है उसका बिल्कुल एग्जैक्ट रूपांतर नमूना है। जैसे अभी पुराने स्पीकर जो बॉम्बे से थे, प्रोफेसर साहब, वो सुना रहे थे, काफी सारे हमने यहाँ पर खिलौने सिर्फ दिमाग को खोल देने वाले बनाए। ये 4 हमारे पास डाइस हैं, चारों पे इसके 6 फेस होते हैं, लेकिन 4 रंग है। आपको इनको एक के ऊपर, और ये डाइस गत्ते की बनाई है, भंगार के कूड़े से ये खेल बने हैं। ये चारों को आपको ऐसे लगाना है कि चारों तरफ चारों रंग आ जाएं। तो जैसे देखिए, इस तरफ तो चारों रंग आ गए, लेकिन इधर नहीं आए। हर डाइस पे 4 रंग है, चारों को एक के ऊपर एक रखना है ताकि हर तरफ चारों रंग आ जाएं। कैसे कर सकते हैं? ये हवा में लटकने वाला पेन है, एक रबड़ का टुकड़ा जिसको चप्पल का टुकड़ा भी कह सकते थे, नीचे 2 चुंबक हैं, पेन में एक चुंबक है, इधर आइसक्रीम की डंडी है। इसको हमने अगर ऐसे रखा तो ये पेन हवा में लटक जाता है। बहुत खूबसूरत है। ये पेन बिल्कुल हवा में लटक गया, और इसी तरह से पेन वो वाला हवा में लटक गया, ये वाला लेट गया था, ये वाला पेन हम हवा में लटका सकते हैं, खड़ा कर सकते हैं। ये वही पेन है। कल्पना करिए, हर बच्चा और टीचर ये पेन से लिखे, और लिखने के बाद बत्तख के ऊपर एक चोंच में हमने एक चुंबक लगा दी, पेन में चुंबक लगा दी, अब ये पेन हवा में लटक कर घूमता रहेगा। क्यों? क्योंकि नीचे बॉल बेयरिंग है, और बॉल बेयरिंग की जमीन के साथ फ्रिक्शन बहुत कम होगा, तो बहुत देर तक घूमता रह सकता है। ये सीडी है, सीडी के ऊपर हमने ये फिजेट स्पिनर लगाया। अक्सर ओवरहेड में दिखा देता हूं, अक्सर ये इसको ऐसे रखेंगे तो गिर जाएगा, ऑफ कोर्स इसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, ये गिर जाएगा। लेकिन अगर हम फिजेट स्पिनर को चला दें और अब रखें तो अब खड़ा हो जाएगा। और इसको एक तरफ रखेंगे तो एक तरफ घूमता है, इसको दूसरी तरफ रखेंगे तो उल्टी दिशा में घूमता है, इसको ऐसे करेंगे तो ये स्पिन भी नहीं होगा। यही कारण है। और बनाने के लिए क्या लगा? एक साधारण सी सीडी, एक फिजेट स्पिनर। ये हमारे पास हैंड पंप का नमूना है। ये पानी है, पकड़ना, हमारे साथी पंकज, उनको भी बोलेंगे। तो एक साधारण सी सीरीज में 2 वॉशर लगाए, और अगर हम इसको खींचते हैं तो ये हैंडपंप में पानी भर गया और ये पंकज को गीला कर दिया। आगे आ जाना थोड़ा, ऐसे लोगों को दिखता है कि आप गीले हो रहे हैं। पानी हमने इसमें भरा हैंडपंप में, और अब हम इसको दबाते हैं तो पंकज गीले हो जाएंगे। ये हमारा साधारण हैंडपंप है। इसी तरह से हमारे हैंडपंप काम करते हैं। कागज के बहुत सारे खिलौने बना सकते थे। ये आप अगर इंटरनेट पर जाकर देखेंगे तो पिछले 2 सालों से हमने दशहरा से दिवाली तक कागज की सुंदर दिवाली के लैंप्स बनाए हैं। 40 लैंप्स हैं। साधारण लैंप्स बनते कैसे हैं, इसका जो कटिंग है, इसको किस तरह से काटना है, ये सब उसके डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। और 40 डिफरेंट तरीके के पॉलीहेड्रल लैंप्स हैं। ये स्नब क्यूब है, अंग्रेजी में इसका शब्द है क्यूब है, लेकिन क्यूब के चारों तरफ ट्रायंगल घूमे हुए हैं, बट बहुत सुंदर लैंप है। तो ये करेंगे तो दिवाली में, और साधारण कागज से, ये साधारण जो चार्ट पेपर आता है या पुराना पेपर पड़ा होता है, उसको हमें काट कर जोड़कर बनाने हैं। इंटरनेट पर अगर आप 2020 लैंप सर्च करेंगे तो आपको सारे लैंप्स, 40 अलग अलग तरीके के लैंप्स मिल जाएंगे। ये बहुत अलग तरीके की सांप सीढ़ियां हैं। और इसके मजेदार चीज ये है कि ये खेलने के लिए तो सांप सीढ़ी आपको लगेगी, 4 अलग तरीके की सांप सीढ़ियां हैं। ये स्पाइरल सांप सीढ़ी है, देखिए बहुत अलग तरीके की है। ये 1 2 3 4 ऐसे चलती है। और इसकी खास बात क्या है कि इसके पीस अलग हो जाते हैं। हर पीस में 5 स्क्वायर्स हैं, हर पीस में 5 नंबर हैं। अब सवाल ये उठता है, खेलने के लिए बहुत सुंदर है, दो बिना पैसे में बन जाता है। कुछ भी इसको करने के लिए किसी भी सरकार से, किसी भी स्कूल से, किसी भी प्रिंसिपल से पैसा मांगने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर मैंने इसको यहाँ पर लग दिया, और इसके ऊपर आप अब लिख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पर क्या नंबर आना चाहिए। सीधा रख के लगा दीजिए तो एक पजल भी बन गई, उल्टा करके लगा दे तो यहाँ पर लिख सकते हैं टोटल 100 नंबर्स हैं और हर में 5 है, तो टोटल ऐसे 20 पीस हैं। इनको पेंटामिनोस बोलते हैं। ये सारे खिलौने हमने IIT गांधीनगर में अपनी लैब में सेंटर फॉर क्रिएटिव लर्निंग में बनाए हैं। हमें आशा है कि इसी तरह के खिलौने इससे भी और रुचिकर, ये देखिए साधारण वाली सांप सीढ़ी है 10, 20, 30, लेकिन इसके अलावा वो स्पाइरल वाली सांप सीढ़ी थी, ये दूसरी वाली सांप सीढ़ी है। इसमें अलग तरीके के पैटर्न आएंगे, इसमें 10 के ऊपर 11, ये ऐसे ऐसे चलता है। तो इसमें आप देखेंगे कि हर 2 रो के बीच में करेंगे तो 20-20 का अंक है, लेकिन इधर करेंगे तो ये डिफरेंस है, ये कम होता जाता है। यहाँ 19, ये 17, ये 16, अलग अलग तरीके के पैटर्न्स हैं। इसमें भी अगर हम इसी तरह से ये पीस हटा दें और कोई यहाँ पर रख दें तो आप भर दें। अब यहाँ पर आपको बताना पड़ेगा क्या क्या नंबर आएंगे, तो यहाँ 44 आएगा यहाँ पे। तो अलग तरीके से दिमाग, लॉट ऑफ वेरी डिफरेंट क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग। ये कुछ हमने लकड़ी के साथ मिलकर सिर्फ गत्ते और कागज से बहुत सुंदर, बहुत ही सुंदर ये आर्ट करी है। तो ये मैं आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ 2 मिनट में। ये 2 का पहाड़ा है। 2 का पहाड़ा मतलब गत्ते के गोले में 1 से 100 तक नंबर अंक लिख दिए, 2 का पहाड़ा गिन दिया, 2 को 4 से जोड़ दिया, 3 को 6 से, 4 को 8 से, 5 को 10 से, ऐसे कर दिया। तो ये देखिए सुंदर एक दिल की शेप बन जाती है। इसको कार्डॉइड बोलते हैं। 2 के पहाड़े की जगह अगर 3 का पहाड़ा पढ़ें तो ये बन जाता है, ये किडनी की शेप है, नेफ्रॉइड बोलते हैं। 3 का पहाड़ा पढ़े की जगह 4 का पढ़ेंगे तो ये वाला पैटर्न बन जाता है। और अगर किसी का भी पहाड़ा नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो सुंदर पैटर्न बन जाता है। उसके बाद हमारे साथी जो हैं उन्होंने बहुत सुंदर अलग अलग, यही कार्डॉइड जो आपने 2 का पहाड़ा पढ़ा था, अगर इसको 3D में करेंगे तो ये सुंदर एक शेप बन जाती है। और इसका एक अलग पैटर्न है जिसको एपिसाइक्लॉइड बोलते हैं। ये सारे चीजें सिर्फ साधारण गत्ते और ये जो धागा होता है इससे बनाई है। मुझे मालूम नहीं कितना कितना समय है। अंत में मैं बस एक सुंदर लास्ट का एक खिलौना आपको दिखाकर यहाँ पर अपना व्याख्यान बंद करूंगा। और ये हमने हिंदी की वर्णमाला का एक खेल बनाया था और ये मैं आपको अभी 1 मिनट में दिखाता हूँ। अभी अंग्रेजी की वर्णमाला का दिखा देते हैं क्योंकि हिंदी की वर्णमाला में 52 अक्षर होते हैं तो करने में जो ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा। ये अंग्रेजी की वर्णमाला का दिखा देता हूँ। ये आपको, ये हमारे घर में कोई हमारी मित्र की लड़की आई थी, उन्होंने चित्रकारी कर दी, उसके लिए माफी। ये मेरे पास 32 कार्ड्स हैं। इनको लाइन से लगाना है। लाइन से लगाना मतलब सबसे पहले ए लगाना है, फिर उसके बाद बी लगाना है। तो बहुत समय लग जाएगा ढूंढते ढूंढते। इसके लिए हम डंडी का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। हमने क्या करा, फेंट दिया पत्तों को अच्छी तरह से और अब एक डंडी ले ली और इस डंडी को सबसे पहले इस तरफ डाला। लग रहा है, मैं 1 सेकंड देख लेता हूँ कहाँ पर हमारे कागज। अगर 3 वाला आ जाता है तो गड़बड़ हो जाती है। तो अब देखिए, इसको हमने सबसे पहले डंडी में डाल दिया, डंडी डाल दी और कुछ कार्ड्स बाहर आ गए, उनको आगे लगा दिया। फिर दूसरे छेद में डंडी डाली। टोटल 5 छेद हैं। अब तीसरे में डाल देंगे और फिर चौथे में डाल देंगे और फिर 5वें में डाल देंगे। और ऐसा करने के बाद देखिए एक जादू हो गया। और बिल्कुल अपने आप व्यवस्थित तरीके से। अब ये करने के लिए अंग्रेजी तो छोड़िए, हिंदी की वर्णमाला भी कर सकते हैं। ये हमने हिंदी की वर्णमाला बनाई है। इसमें ये हिंदी की सारी वर्णमाला अपने आप व्यवस्थित तरीके से आ जाएगी। और अगर इसी को अगर हम 5 की जगह 3 छेद से करें, ये बेस्ड हुए ये कंप्यूटर की भाषा है। दिस इज हाउ द कंप्यूटर्स वर्क। हमने उस भाषा का इस्तेमाल करके यहाँ पर ये खिलौने बनाए हैं। अंत में मैं बस
Thank you so much, Professor Jain.
thank you so much for calling me, and I hope it was worth the time that audience gave.
Initiative to spice up the curriculum and make learning creative. Thank you very much. We are now happy to welcome Ms. Vidyun Goel from the non-profit organization, the Toy Bank, on how toys can have a second life by repurposing and resharing used toys. Ms. Goel, you have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for giving me time. I think I've been very excited to hear everybody about the toy inventions they have done.
Ms. Goel, there is an echo, so probably there is some other device which is on with a microphone.
Okay, 1 second. You have to shut up. Is it okay now?
The echo is still there, I'm sorry.
Just please go to the laptop.
Please proceed.
Time to proceed. Ms. Goyal?
Is it better now? No.
Unfortunately, no, the echo is persisting.
I do not have any other logged in device here.
Let it be.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Is it better? Hello?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Kindly
Okay.
continue.
So thank you so much for inviting me and for giving me time here. And I've been hearing about the people who've been doing toy inventions. It's really great and very exciting. So we are on the other end. We are amongst the people who are doing these toy inventions, who are making these toys, and amongst lakhs and lakhs of children in India who do not have access to any of these toys and definitely cannot afford them. So we are like a bridge between those two people. I'm the founder of an organization called the Toy Bank, and we collect old and used toys, or the toys which cannot be sold anymore. We refurbish them and we create toy libraries and playroom for underprivileged children across the length and breadth of India. We work across 26 states and 3 UTs in India and have impacted more than 5 lakh children. By creating these toy libraries, we go a step further from there, and then we teach these children everything they're supposed to learn right from a kindergarten kind of an age, from a 2 years kind of an age till about 11 years of age. So we teach them motor skills, life skills, we teach them about numbers, shape, colors, we teach them languages, Hindi and English, math, science, through only playway methods. I'm going to share a small presentation with you. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, yes, we can.
So the Toy Bank was started more than 15 years ago with a simple concept of recycling toys and by way recycling smiles. And
Ms. Goyal, mind putting it on full screen, please? The
1 second.
presentation. It's okay, kindly continue because we are running out of time.
Full screen. This presentation.
Please continue.
Ms. Goyal, kindly continue. It's okay, please continue with the presentation.
Okay. So what we do, as I was talking about, we enforce right to play, and we do this by creating toy libraries and playroom for children across India, and we teach toys and playway methods as the first education for India, for these children. Over the years, we have used all the toys we have collected from people from around the globe and recycle them and bring them to the children who cannot afford them. So there are on an average middle class family in India spend 9% of their incomes on toys, and yet these toys are a luxury to children who cannot afford them across India. 99% of the children in India cannot afford these toys. There are lots of villages still in India, because we work mostly in rural and both in urban areas, who have never even seen any kind of toys. Now, how do we do this? We collect toys, we sort them, we refurbish them, and when they create age-graded toy kits across, in according to the demographics of the children they are going to, these toys are then transported across India, and we create toy libraries and playroom for children. So this is how we collect toys. So we partner with schools, we do collection centers, we partner with corporates and toy companies who give us their access to toys. So all the wonderful toy inventors who are there, if you have access of toys, you are not able to sell or willing to part with them, we'll be happy to take them. This is how the privileged children, schools in India and Delhi in particular we've been doing toy collection drives so that these old toys can get a second life. Their life cycle could be increased. It would have an impact of environment. At the same time, it would have an impact on the children who cannot afford these toys. This is again some of the photographs from the schools from which we do collection of these toys. These toys are then taken to our sorting center. Some of the pictures which are here, these are the pictures from our sorting center. They're checked for reusability. They are repackaged into age graded and gender neutral toy kits. This is a photograph video from how our sorting center works. For its type of toys, and then they are repackaged and packed into age-graded toy kits. These toy kits are mapped to the children they are going to. If we are creating a toy library in an Anganwadi, a different toy kit is created. If we are creating a playroom, different toy kits are created. These toy kits are then shipped all across India to create beautiful toy libraries and beautiful. This is how the toys are then transported across India. We in one go transport about 100 cartons of toys in each district we are working with. And so far we have saved about 15, we've impacted more than 15 lakh students, 15 lakh toys, and impacted more than 5 lakh students by recycling more, these toys, and saved about 3 lakh plus ton carbon footprints in India. These also help us to break gender barriers, because when we create these toy libraries and playrooms across India, we ensure that these toy libraries are gender neutral. The children are encouraged not to pick up toys based on their gender, and rather boys are encouraged to play with kitchen sets, girls are encouraged to pair with board games, sports equipments, etc. And I was talking about that there are 3 programs which we run. The first is the toy library program, where we create toy libraries in Anganwadis across India. Anganwadis are like playway centers. The second is a safe playroom program, where we create safe playroom for children within the government schools and then teach them through the play with methods. And during the COVID, we made a program wherein we were sending toy kits to students' home and then teaching them online through playway methods. By doing that, we are working on ensuring that children's right to play is protected. The privileged children are sensitized and more aware about the importance of giving and sharing. There is holistic development of children through learning through playway methods. There is breakage of gender barriers. At the same time, we are saving environment by increasing the life cycles of these toys. And a play, as for I'm sure all of you know, is extremely important. It helps in the general well-being of the students, but it also helps to develop their motor skills, they relieve stress, build their cognitive skills and emotional strength. But if used in a proper manner, and many of you will agree, they could be used in main teaching. It could be used for teaching numerical skills, language development, financial literacy, and also developing good health and hygienic practices. There are 3 programs which we are running, which we have mentioned. The Anganwadi program, there are a lot of commissioners which I saw on this panel. If anybody is interested to partner with us, we work with every district with 100 Anganwadis as a minimum program, and we would be happy to partner with you and create toy libraries in the Anganwadis in your districts. The Safe Playroom program runs in government schools till grade 5, and the COVID relief program is like an after-school program where we send in the toy kits and we teach through the playway methods. I'll come to the Anganwadi Toy Connect program. In this program, as we said, the toys which are reused, they are recollected, they are refurbished, and they are repackaged to meet the educational requirement of an age group of an Anganwadi students, which is up till grade age 6. we have developed play modules to teach the Anganwadi workers on how to use these toys to teach children. So the booklet you see in this photograph in front of the Anganwadi worker, this booklet has all the modules. There is a 1-year hand holding program which we follow, wherein our field coordinators work in tandem with the Anganwadi workers for a year and teach them then how do you teach through playway methods, how to teach them colors, shapes, numbers, life skills through playway methods. Some of the photographs from our Anganwadi program.
But
Now, what is the impact that is creating? The first impact which we see when we create a toy library is increase in attendance. When the toys come in, the Anganwadi workers have more resources. The children have more incentive to come and learn in the Anganwadi centers. The parents are excited to send the children to the Anganwadi centers. The second is the improvement in motor skills by the ability to kick, catch, throw a ball, build a tower of 4 or more blocks, draw and scribble. Improvement in their cognitive skills by their ability to name colors and numbers, understand the concept of counting, or simply talk about something in a picture book. Improvement in pre-reading skills by their ability to read basic alphabets and numbers. Improvement in their ability to talk about themselves, about their families, and about things around them. The second program is a program which we run in government schools. This program is currently run with 3,000 students. And we take up a classroom inside a government school. We redo the entire room with, as you can see in the picture, with colorful walls, child-friendly furniture, over 150 varieties of toys. Now, toys are very usually used terms. When I say toy, it means everything which can be used as an educational aid. It could be toys, it could be sports equipments, it could be origami sheets, it could be coloring sheets. Anything which will help in children to learn through playway methods. This is a photograph from before and after in one of the schools where we have created the safe playrooms. All the schools have a standard protocol which we follow to create these playrooms. Some more photographs which are coming in from the playroom projects in the government schools.
Ms. Goel, I'm sorry, we are really out of time. So may I request you to please wrap up your presentation?
Okay, so I think I'm basically focused on that, the aim of the toy bank is to collect old toys, refurbish them, and bring them to the children who cannot afford them. At the same time, we ensure, since we are on the ground, that we have developed our own play modules and play pedagogy and teach these children language skill, numerical skill, and also ensure their emotional stability through these playway methods. These are some of the photographs from our COVID programs where we had sent out the toy kits and increased the attendance in the classes, taught them about numerical skills, language skills, environmental skills. And this is a basic example. There were 30% students in one of the government schools who could write their name in class 4th in English and Hindi. In 1 year's time, we took up that number to 90%. This is the power of play.
Thank you, Ms. Goel.
We have worked across 26 states and 4 UTs and impacted more than 5 lakh students and created more than 5,000 toy libraries and refurbished more than 15 lakhs toys and saved about 3 lakh plus of carbon emissions. If anybody would like to partner with us, I think we could be reached on these email IDs, and happy to partner with both government and toy inventors here. I thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to talk about Toy Bank. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Goel, for those very inspiring presentation on how you're impacting children's lives. May I now request the Joint Secretary and National Mission Director, Ms. Rupa Mishra, to give a broad overview of the Swachh Toycathon.
Thank you very much. Namaskar. Good morning to everyone. And thank you very much for participating in this very unique initiative under Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Today we have with us our state officials, the city teams, technical institutions, development partners, and various other people who have been partners in the journey of Swachh Bharat. So we take forward a leap and try to create another chapter in this wonderful journey. And we take our inspiration from the call of our Honorable Prime Minister to team up for toys and to make toys that are environment friendly. So it is, if we have a look at it, the global toys market is massive, in which India's share is around 1.5%. While, of course, Indian manufacturers have been trying to ramp up production, at the same time, we must also appreciate that a lot of these manufacturers are unorganized. And what about the waste implication of toys industry? And that's where Swachh Bharat mission comes in. It is estimated that most of the toys in the market today are made out of plastic, and over 80% of all toys manufactured either in landfills, incinerators, or in the ocean. So the question or the challenge before us is, can we do something more productive, a bit more productive, so as to prevent this from ending up in landfills and add a little more value to this journey? So with this in the background, we present before you the Swachh Toycathon, where we attempt to put waste to play. This is a competition that seeks entries of designs of toys and play zones using waste and recycled material. Anybody can participate. We request that this message be disseminated, of course, on the MyGov platform and on the ministry's websites. All our communication to our various partners will be there. But this is open to all individuals in two categories of juniors and seniors, and also in groups that could be educational institutions, that could be startups, that could be tech institutions, that could also be manufacturers. Now, we have thought that we will go with what our experts say, that if it is a toy, then it has to create fun. So we have created the themes accordingly. It is F and U and N, where in the category 1, which is our theme 1, we attempt to design early prototypes of toys from waste at home, schools, workplace, anywhere in our surroundings, so that these toys can add not only to fun, but also can trigger learning. The theme 2 is about designing and modeling games and play zones in parks, open spaces in your cities, Anganwadi centers, schools, any area, any space, and these could be made out of waste. So let's use and enjoy. And the theme 3 is about ideas and solutions and working models that can create slightly more eco-friendly conscious toy value chain, where we try to refurbish new toys from the old ones. So these 3 themes having been in place, we would request everyone to apply on the MyGov portal. The application process is extremely simple, and once that is done, be a very simple assessment framework, and we thank our knowledge partner, IIT Gandhinagar, to have supported us in creating this framework, where all applications will be assessed on the grounds, on the parameters of novelty, design, safety, usage of the material, scalability, and of course, the social or the future waste and climate implication. There will be a reputed jury panel with representatives from IIT Gandhinagar, from IIT Guwahati, BIS, National Institute of Design, Ministry of Social Justice, Game Therapy. We thank all these partner organizations who have given their consent to be part of our jury. And as part of this, of course, we would be happy to recognize and also award some of the best entries. Some of the best entries from each category will be felicitated at the national level program. Most importantly, this is expected to trigger to look at toys differently, to look at waste differently. And taking it ahead, we will also have a creative learning workshop at IIT Gandhinagar for the top participants. If there are startups that come in the top applications, then they will also get incubation support at IIT Kanpur, that is also our partner organization. We'll try and link up with the urban local bodies for the awarded play zone designs, so that those can be incorporated in those cities itself. And we will also make attempts to linkage with the toy industry to scale up, if possible, any particular design. So let's reimagine waste, let's reimagine toys. We really hope that this effort will not just be fun, it will also be useful. It will create in some kind of circularity in the toy industry. Also, people's participation for rethinking waste and toys is something we expect to trigger through this Toycathon. We want to integrate elements of fun buy usage of waste in public placemaking, and of course, promote innovation and design. The details may please be noted, while of course, Secretary Mahua will be launching it in a short while from now. The portal opens from today and will be open till 11th of November. The applications will be shortlisted, and then finally by December, we will publish the final best entries. So this is in brief the details of the Swachh Toycathon. I would now request Secretary Mahua to please launch the Swachh Toycathon, putting waste to play.
May I request the dignitaries to also release the toolkit of Swachh Toycathon? Thank you. May I now request Secretary Mahua to address the audience?
नमस्कार हमसे इस प्रोग्राम में आज जुड़े हुए सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं इंडिया में कई जगह सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के एरियाज देखने जाता हूँ या सड़क के किनारे पड़ा हुआ कचरा भी देखने को मिलता है। कई जगह लैंडफिल्स देखने को मिलती हैं, कॉम्पैक्टेड या बिना कॉम्पैक्टेड लैंडफिल्स देखने को मिलती हैं। तो काफी जगह हमें सॉफ्ट टॉयज तो खास तौर पे कचरे के ढेर में दिखते हैं। इसके अलावा भी टॉयज काफी देखने को मिलते हैं आजकल। जैसे हमारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और तरह तरह के टॉयज होते हैं, उसकी जो आयु है वो काफी कम होती है। पहले के जमाने में जिस तरह के टॉयज होते थे लकड़ी के या प्लास्टिक के, शायद उनकी ड्यूरेबिलिटी ज्यादा थी, काफी लंबे समय तक चलते थे। एक बच्चे के बाद दूसरा बच्चा भी देख खेलता था। आजकल 1 साल 2 साल से आगे टॉयज की ड्यूरेबिलिटी कम होती है। शायद लोग उनसे उगता भी जल्दी जाते हैं, उनकी लाइफ भी कम होती है, उनका इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स होता है वो खराब हो जाता है। उसके बाद वो सेल, उसमें जो बैटरी लगी होगी, उस बैटरी का टच पॉइंट अगर थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया तो वो टॉय बेकार हो जाता है। तो और उसके बाद हम लोग उसको फेंक देते हैं और एक बार वो जनरल गार्बेज कलेक्शन सिस्टम में चला जाता है तो फर्दर डैमेज होता रहता है। उसके बावजूद भी काफी टॉयज हमें देखने को मिलते हैं कचरे के ढेर में जो रीयूज किए जा सकते हैं। तो अगर हमें टॉयज को ठीक करके उनका दोबारा इस्तेमाल करने की कैंपेन करनी है, उस पर काम करना है, तो ये भी देखना होगा कि किस पॉइंट पे हम लोग कलेक्शन करें टॉयज का। कचरे के ढेर से लेके उसको ठीक करना ज्यादा मुश्किल काम है। घरों से कलेक्ट करवा के उसको अगर हम रीयूज करते हैं तो कहीं आसान काम होगा। जैसे मैं डूंगरपुर गया था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि यूज्ड कपड़े से थैलियां बनाने का एक सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप का एक बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप है, काम कर रहा है। तो वो दुकानें और घर से जाके कलेक्ट करते हैं और वो उनकी कंडीशन काफी ठीक होती है, उनसे बने हुए थैलियां भी बड़ी अच्छी होती हैं और वो बेच भी पाते हैं। तो एक टॉयज में हमें ये देखना होगा कि कैसे एनजीओज को इन्वॉल्व करके या सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स को एम्प्लॉय करके हम यूज टॉयज का कलेक्शन करें, जैसे गूंज या कोई और भी एनजीओ है दिल्ली में जो यूज कपड़ों को कलेक्ट करते हैं, शायद हम उन्हीं को यूज कर लें और यूज टॉयज का कलेक्शन करें। एक तो वो मेरे दिमाग में सबसे पहले चीज आती है। दूसरा, जनरली हमारे दिमाग में ये होता है कि नया टॉय खरीदें, पुराने टॉय की एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी कितनी होगी मार्केट में, ये एक इशू है। तो उसको आप एज ए प्रीमियम प्रोडक्ट कैसे बेचें कि ये नए टॉय से बेहतर है क्योंकि ये एनवायरमेंटली फ्रेंडली है। तो एक उसमें एक प्रीमियम क्वालिटी हमें डालनी पड़ेगी ताकि लोग उसको प्रेफर करें नए टॉय को खरीदने की बजाय। जैसे थैले में हम करते हैं कि यूज कपड़े से बना हुआ थैला उपयोग करने में हमें थोड़ा गर्व महसूस होता है कि हम एनवायरनमेंट के लिए कुछ काम कर रहे हैं। तो टॉयज में भी हमें कुछ ऐसा करना पड़ेगा ताकि लोगों को लगे कि वो कुछ अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, इसलिए वो रीयूज्ड टॉय का इस्तेमाल करें। ये जो अभी हमारा टॉयकैथन में जो कंपटीशन है, ये तो एक्सपेरिमेंटल लेवल पे ज़्यादा है, डिज़ाइन लेवल पे ज़्यादा है। इसको कमर्शियल लेवल पे पहुंचाना ग्रुप्स के द्वारा, वो एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज भी होगा हमारे लिए और उसके लिए हमें काफ़ी ऑर्गेनाइज तरीके से आगे बढ़ना होगा। तो मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता है कि हम इस क्षेत्र में इस राह पे आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, एक डिबेट जनरेट कर रहे हैं, एक इंटरेस्ट जनरेट कर रहे हैं और ये एक पहला कदम है। आगे इसी में हमें और भी कदम उठाने होंगे ताकि लार्ज स्केल पे जैसा यूज्ड कपड़ों के बारे में हुआ है, ऐसा ही हम यूज्ड टॉयज के बारे में एक कैंपेन और लार्ज स्केल यूसेज कर सकें और एक पूरी सप्लाई चेन बना सके, घरों से कलेक्शन, उसका रीडेवलपमेंट और उसको एक हायर एनवायरनमेंट प्रोटेक्शन से जोड़ते हुए उसको उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, क्योंकि कमर्शियल लेवल पे किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए कर पाना शायद मुश्किल होगा, उसमें इतने प्रॉफिट्स भी नहीं होंगे। तो ये एक सोशल कैंपेन की तरह से हम इसको चला पाए। अगर इसमें कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस कमर्शियल लेवल पे पैसा बना सकें तो देयर इज नथिंग लाइक दैट। आई थिंक दैट वुड बी क्रूशियल फॉर सक्सेस। पर जब तक वो ना हो तब तक सोशल मूवमेंट की तरह ही हम इसको ले चलें आगे। और मैं आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ कि आप सभी लोग इससे जुड़े हैं। ऑल द बेस्ट फ्रॉम माय साइड। नमस्कार।
We have now come to the end of the event. I would like to thank Secretary Mogua for sparing his valuable time to launch the very innovative Swachh Toycathon. We will now close the event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.